Hey guys, hope you all are doing great. Welcome back to my podcast series Entrance and Beyond. Today I have a very unique guest. So far we've been talking about JE, we've been talking about Google, we've been talking about internships and things like that. Today we're going to talk about entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship in AI. So today I have the pleasure of having Aro Dinkar with me. So just to introduce a bit about Aro, he is doing his BS degree in data science from IIT Madras. It's a really great degree to do, and it's basically a degree in data science. Apart from that, he's also doing his BTech from VIT in Pune in ENTC. And coming to the main point, he has his very own startup. He's a co-founder in a startup known as UnlistAI. So let's start, Aro.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Aparimaya, for having me. It's an honor to be on your show and hoping to have a lot of fun.
Okay, so thank you, Aro, for taking some time and coming on my podcast. So, Aro, could you talk a bit about your background apart from all of this, like how you were as a child and sort of your life thus far? Would you want to talk about that a bit?
Yeah, sure. I am like always been a multifaceted person. I wasn't really that academic oriented right from the beginning. Like not only in academics, I enjoyed doing other things as well. I was into debates, doing a lot of extracurricular activities. I enjoyed playing lawn tennis, uh, and yeah, I mean, and according like with respect to technology aspect, my journey in technology began right from when I was a child because there was a special incident that happened when I was in seventh grade. Me and my friend from school, we got into this game designing competition. We had to design games, desktop games, and before that, we hadn't done any coding and programming. So at that point, we were like very new to this stuff, but we designed games in 60 to 70 days. We designed three games. We got into that competition, and there were approximately 60 teams from all over Pune, and we we ended up being fourth. We got ranked fourth, and I actually got fascinated by that. Like you can just go and build things, and you can put it out, and you can enjoy, right? So that from that I took up this, like I got interested into technology programming, and since then it is like I'm always exploring new things, new technology aspects, building things out. That has been my journey uh, as a child, like always fascinated about exploring things, new things.
Okay. Aro, would you want to talk about your life once you entered college? Because that is a totally different realm with all these clubs, all these activities, all these new people. And for the first time, you get a lot of freedom in college. It's
Yeah.
not just that you're doing academics and things like that. And it must have been fascinating for you because as someone who really was interested in tech, going to an engineering college, that to VIT, which is one of the best engineering colleges if we talk about Pune. So, how was that experience? How was your first year of college?
So yeah, good question. So I got into VIT in November of 2022 into electronics and telecommunication branch in BTech. So like again, excited to explore new things, meet new people, and I was in search of people who aligned my interests, right? Technology and building things. But the first half of my engineering, which is like first half of 2023, I just did exploration. I wasn't really building anything. I was just talking with people. I made few friends, and we were just exploring things. In June of 2023, I got admitted to IIT Madras for my BS program, BS degree, which is a 4 years data science degree, Bachelor of Science. And from then on, I started getting into this world of AI. I started getting into concepts of machine learning, computer vision, uh, artificial intelligence, generative AI, and from then on, like it's like not. I haven't looked back. I've just like started to build things out, build numerous projects, and at that point, I was in constant communication with my current co-founder, who is my friend since play school. We always wanted to build new things, so we started to develop some ideas. We worked on a few projects, so like we can discuss about it as the podcast progresses. But yeah, that's been like, and I don't know how these 1.5 years have passed. So like it's like just it's been a ride. So yeah, great life till now.
Okay. So now let's dive into AI because that has been the trending word that is going on in like every college, every place. We hear a new news that this sort of model is getting launched today with a
Yeah.
lot of companies there, Meta, and with the Olama model and then ChatGPT
Right.
as well. The boom happened in our first year. So yeah,
Yeah.
so how did you like get into AI? Was it like after this ChatGPT sort of boom happened, or was it like before that you were sort of interested in fields like machine learning and all? Because they were present way before this generative AI was present, right? So how exactly did you gain an interest in AI?
No, so like I told you, I was like right from when I was in school, I was like fascinated about technology. I was interested in technology. But these aspects like machine learning, computer vision, and LLMs, right? I introduced to them pretty much in my college only. So before college, I was just like exploring things, but I wasn't really interested in the world of AI. But uh, there had been I was trying few products, few AI based things which were in out like just like ChatGPT, which came out in late 2022, and that actually got my interest into AI. Like I was just fascinated by the amount of productivity I got from it. Right. So
Okay.
that's how. Yeah.
Okay. So before moving towards your company, I would want to like talk about AI because like AI, it's a really complicated technology. It's like really sci-fi sort of thing. Like people think about Jarvis and Iron Man and things like that. But before going into all of those details, you must, as a person, at least know what AI is exactly. Especially for the new generation, like people that are now in sixth, seventh, eighth, people like that, because AI, I know it has its advantages, but it also has its disadvantages, right? So, how would you break down AI? Like, if you wanted to define AI in a couple of sentences to a child in suppose fifth grade, sixth grade, how exactly would you explain to them what AI is?
Yeah. So this is a great question. So the ability of computers or machines to do tasks and try to replicate human intelligence to perform these tasks by getting some human cognitive functions such as pattern recognition or getting experience from things you have learned uh, prior, right? Processing a lot of information, driving out patterns from them, understanding a language, and performing tasks based on them. That is the to its core the traditional definition of AI. But it is defining AI as one such thing or one particular technology. It is not like that. It is a very broad spectrum. uh, there is computer vision, there is machine learning, uh, autonomous cars. We find algorithms which are used in social media platforms. These are very different applications of AI. So as you said about like if I want to explain it to a sixth grade or seventh grade, I will just tell that when machines or computers they think they have an ability to take decisions on their own and execute a task, that is known as artificial intelligence. Performing a task uh, completely dedicated to the computer, he has to execute, he has to take decisions, and he has to come up with an output or a result.
Okay.
That is artificial intelligence.
Okay. Would there be any tip you'd like to give? Like, how should one dive into AI? Because there are a lot of things, like you said, there are a lot of applications to it, right? Like you mentioned, OpenCV, and then there's LLM models, as we know. So, what would be your advice? And like, how did you exactly sort of start using that tech, or like start developing something using that tech? How did that happen?
Yeah, so I think there are two aspects of this. First of all, uh, there can be one thing which is like you are entirely developing a new technology
Yeah.
to, in a particular domain, like computer vision or machine learning or LLMs. Or the second aspect is you are utilizing that technology.
Yeah.
Now, so development comes at a very next stage when you have a lot of knowledge on the core mathematics or uh, statistics or certain principles of computer science, or maybe you are familiar with programming.
Yeah.
But with respect to this podcast, I think if you want to we want to give a message to the people that how we can embed or include AI into our daily lives, then we should focus on how the techniques by which we can utilize AI. And one such technique is prompt engineering. We hear prompt engineering everywhere. So if you learn prompt engineering, which is like essentially the art of asking questions to AI, right? Numerous platforms of AI like Meta, ChatGPT, Claude. How do you actually take a result from AI, how do you ask questions to AI, that is prompt engineering. So that is basically utilizing that product. And if you want to build, then you might need to go through pretty much the traditional path of learning mathematics, learning statistics, because the essential point is that you should understand what is happening at the core. You can develop systems directly, but if you are not familiar with what is happening at the bottom line, then there would be a problem because you are not familiar with the core concepts. But utilizing AI part is pretty much comparatively easier than actually building things. So
Okay.
you can explore engineering here. That is one.
So, like Aro mentioned, something really important is that you can directly go to the development. The development would come at a later stage when we are equipped with all the AI techs and like equipped with all the knowledge. Like he mentioned, mathematics, statistics, and then using different models. So it you can't be thinking that I'm going to develop a totally new product out of AI. You can utilize the tech that's already there and sort of look to make something that could help you in a particular application or things like that. And
Yeah.
recently, even like in chess, what I've heard, recently India won the Olympiad, right? So they'd mentioned that they're also leveraging AI just for like studying opponents. So what they're doing is they're playing with the AI bot, and because at this point of time, AI is really developed, right? It's better than suppose what it was 5 years ago. So that could really help them out. Yeah. So Aru, you were saying
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. I was saying that two things here. That the chess example which you gave, if you just go back to the podcast, I said something about pattern recognition.
Yeah.
So when you are studying players, when you are studying their moves, what you are just doing is you are studying some patterns or some common things in them. And then you are predicting their new ways, new moves which they will play. So this is a very good aspect or use case of AI. And the second point is that though you need some essential, very core knowledge about AI when you are building stuff, but right now, if you hear that uh, the founder and CEO of NVIDIA, Jensen Huang, he said that eventually we need to achieve a stage where nobody has to learn to program. And the language of programming is just, human language. You can just type something in English, and then the systems are so smart that they will give you an entire output regarding your particular project. So you can definitely learn and develop systems. And if you want to develop those systems at a faster rate, you have to utilize AI in this aspect because the language models are fantastic right now. And if you utilize them in each stage, for example, if you're taking a project on generative AI, and to crack that generative AI based project, if you are going to utilize generative AI again, it can substantially increase your productivity just by learning a small yet important skill, which is prompt engineering. You can do it really well.
Okay. So Aro, as you guys can see, he's mentioning prompt engineering again and again, and he's sort of talked about that. So Aro,
Yeah.
what is your startup exactly, and could you talk about what's been happening in your life, or suppose the last 7 months? How did you get the idea, and then how did things progress after getting the idea?
Yeah. So first, I'll talk about the idea and how we got it. So, like me and my co-founder Mihir, we have been, we had been exploring things and we tried a few ideas, but the main point was that we weren't solving a problem which we encountered ourselves. That when you are, developing a company or a product, it is very necessary to relate with the product. If you are not going to relate with the product, it is going to be very tough when you're developing it. So the problems we faced, essentially what my company is doing is that we are transforming customer experience for companies and we are automating back office processes in them so that they can entirely transform their customer experience. And we faced problems when we were buying products virtually or real life products as well. The platforms from which we were buying those products, they didn't have that much great customer experience, and there was a lot of delay, there was a lot of constraints in communication, and we felt that there could have been a system which could just have its own intelligence and take decisions on behalf of that company and execute these problems of customers and delight those customers. So from that actual idea originated that yeah, I mean, we can do something in customer experience. And yeah, we are 7 months into operation at UnlistAI, and still I would say that very small time, a very early stage startup, and still figuring out what is required. We can talk about it more. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Aru, was this your first idea that you sort of started implementing or working on, or were there any other ideas that you and your co-founder had thought of, or like maybe even worked on?
Yeah, I mean, UnlistAI was not the first idea. We were developing 2, 3 ideas before that, but those ideas were very operational heavy. So the thing was that they were atoms businesses. So if you know the term atoms businesses, it is that you build a technology, you build a software, and because of that particular software, things in the real world are moving. Take example of Uber. You
Yeah.
have an app, and because of that app, there is all this taxi system ecosystem which exists, right? So our ideas were actually creating, ecosystems. I won't disclose the idea because it was a really good one right now, but we had to. It was very operational heavy. It was very execution heavy. And when you are going to that, atoms business, the only challenge is execution, and you have to actually dedicate full time to that. And being in first year, it was very tough for us,
Yeah.
right? Because we have that domain expertise as well. We were still learning. We are still learning rather, right? So that's why we had to stop from that, and we had to pivot to search something new. And also, those problems we didn't resonate with ourselves. We never got that problems which we were facing. And if you can't get, like, if you are not solving a problem which you yourself encountered, then there is not going to be the same excitement while you're developing the product.
Okay. So, would you want to talk a bit in more detail about your product? Like you said, you're working with customer experience, right? You're basically helping companies sort of automate that entire customer experience. So, could you talk about that in a bit of detail as to like particularly or specifically what your product is doing apart from this customer service sort of thing?
Yeah, sure. So UnlistAI is a AI-based startup, and we are dedicated to providing solutions to other enterprises, other businesses, which will help them, automate certain processes, certain back office complex processes, repetitive product processes. And this time, right now, we are targeting customer experience as the first domain because that has a lot of potential according to us. And in that, with the clients which we are working currently, we are mainly, into agentic workflows. If you have heard of them, we are into Gen AI based chatbots, and these are the services which are we are providing. We are developing certain agents, we are developing chatbots catering to that specific company's requirement. And yeah, that is it.
So the main thing that you mentioned is catering that specific company, right? Because all companies sort of have a different product, different requirement, different maintenance activities and things like that. And you talked
Yeah.
about your Gen AI bot. So a Gen AI bot, it would be something like what other companies have, right? Like Airtel and all, like their customer service, some of them have bots in them, right? So
Yeah.
basically, that
So
is something that you're providing, correct?
no, so like it is a, you know, we are solving the customer experience part. So we are actually tailoring. Our customer is the that business or a company,
Yeah.
and the customers of that business are common people like us who consume products from them. So we are making products actually for those people who want to interact with that company in a better way. Now we have started with providing Gen AI based chatbots, which have, which are tailored to that company's requirement, and we focus on automating that. Like every single question answered about that company, every single query solved, every single complaint solved, and completely automating the process, boosting the productivity and efficiency, and reducing the time with a significant margin. That's what we are focusing on right now.
Okay. So, what is the current status of your startup? Like, could you talk about maybe on a month or milestone? Could you mention like a milestone sort of timeline? Like you started like 7 months ago, right? So, how
Yeah.
exactly did your product progress? Like, was there some milestone event or something like that?
Yeah. No, I mean, so when you are actually into product development, there are milestones, every week or every month. But the thing is, with my startup, we are currently a very young stage startup, but
Yeah,
still working on the one of the most cutting edge technologies in the world right now.
yeah,
But with this 7 month of operation, what I've realized is that the main point when a product succeeds is two things. First is the technology. You can make the technology better, and the second one is adoption. So the second one, which is adoption, that is the most critical part. How much your users are relating with your product. You can make technology the best technology in the world, but are people actually valuing it? Are you solving a particular problem? So the question about this milestone, right? It is not fixed,
Yeah.
because 7 months is a very relatively very short time, but still there have been very 2 3 big pivots. uh, right now we have shifted our gears, we have shifted the entire trajectory, and the product which I was working on the first day of operation, which is in February, and whatever I'm working right now, it is a very much like it is a complete flip. So you can have certain targets, but at this young stage when you are actually chasing for product market fit, you are trying out numerous things, you are taking feedback, it you know you know achieving certain or planning certain milestone, it becomes very tough because you don't know what is coming in the future.
Yeah.
Right, you need to shift according to that.
Okay. So, is like you're doing the startup in AI, right? And as I've mentioned, RO is also doing a data science degree from IIT Madras. So, would you want to talk about what exactly that degree is, and has that helped at all, like in developing your startup? Is there any sort of concept you studied from data science that might have sort of helped you develop this startup, or that would you would say that was a totally different sort of subject?
Yeah, so data science degree, IIT Madras data science degree is a 4 years degree, Bachelor of Science degree in data science and as well as programming, data science and programming. So I got admitted in IIT last year only. So I've completed my first year right now. And IIT being an IIT, they don't take you at the most advanced level in first year. Like you won't be developing products in the first year directly, or you won't be working on the technologies directly. They will teach you mathematics, they will teach you the core concepts, the core subjects, the statistics, probability, which is actually required when you are going to apply these concepts and build on a particular technology. For example, take LLMs or machine learning. So your question that has has it benefited you or has it influenced your startup or my work as startup? I have learned the core part of AI, how it works, what are the key concepts which are required. But with respect to the development part, working on, let's say, solely machine learning or solely LLMs, we will do it in future at IIT, because I have just completed my freshman year at IIT. So that is it.
Okay. So what were the subjects, or like, could you talk about the curriculum a bit, like what you've done in the first year so far, and then what are some of the courses you're gonna take in the upcoming 3 years?
So in the first year, we had mathematics. Uh, there was like in the first sem, we had mathematics one. In second sem, we had mathematics two. Then we had statistics, which comprised of probability, majority of the probability, and permutation combination. But we like it is in like a lot of depth. Like you do it for 4 months, 5 months. So it is like you can imagine the amount of
Yeah.
depth it has. Then they teach you programming in Python, uh, and they teach you English also, which is required for
Okay.
uh, in the first year. And then from after that, in the second year, you have machine learning, and it is not only focused on data science; it is also focused on programming. So you are going to have DSA in Java. You are going to have mobile app development. You are going to have machine learning techniques and NLP as well, which is natural language processing. But that is going to come at a very later stage. I think third year. I don't know but it is
Yeah.
there. So you're going to do two paths, which is one is completely of data science, and the second is of completely programming, traditional programming, and app development in that.
Okay. So how have you liked this degree like thus far? Is there like something that you particularly enjoyed about this first year doing a degree apart from your normal college, correct? So is there any particular thing you enjoyed a lot about this IIT degree?
Yeah, I mean, you get basically access to everything at IIT, right? You're doing this from your home, but you have everything like accessible for
Yeah.
IIT. Like I am actually the member of GDSA at IIT Madras, so we have sessions around every month or so. You have access to all the fests at IIT. You can go, you can anytime visit because you're going to have that identity card of admission or admission letter, whatever
Yeah.
it is. And you get both of them. You can show one of them and you can just enter. You can visit IIT anytime. Uh, and apart from knowledge, there is a healthy competition as well. Uh, like there are a lot of brilliant people here. like amazingly brilliant people. But after all, it's IIT, right? So you can imagine the level. Like I don't need to specifically define it.
Yeah. And the other thing is it's IIT, and then people from all over India are also like in that course, correct? So like it's
Correct.
going to be really
So
competitive.
yeah. So even if we are BS students, we directly, like, let's take example of GDSE, right?
Yeah,
So Google Developers Student Clubs.
correct.
It is only one club. It is not specifically for BS or for BTech. All
Yeah.
of the students come into that GDSE only, and there is discussion on it. You have groups, you interact with people on a daily basis about technology, and pretty much you can have like this interaction going on, and from that you get a lot of knowledge, you get a lot of perspectives, and yeah, I mean,
Okay. So now that we talked about IIT, I think we have missed one point in the startup thing. We have missed the point of networking, correct? You just talked about IIT, so I just remembered we didn't really talk about networking, because I
yeah.
would think that networking would really be something that's important, particularly for developing a startup, right? Because you have to get investors, sort of promote your product so that a lot of people know it via LinkedIn or Instagram or whatever other resource you're using. So, would you want to talk about networking, and what are some tips you'd like to give to someone that's just entering college, or in fact, anyone that is just on LinkedIn or platforms like that?
No, I mean, like, networking, irrespective of what you are doing, a startup or anything, I think networking is very important in this era. So, like, not much few tips. I will just say that be in regular touch with your seniors, be active on platforms such as LinkedIn, uh, try to connect with people. Uh, Whenever you get a chance, for example, if you have any seminar or people from a top company are visiting in your college for some seminars, do connect with them, and like just go confidently and ask them for LinkedIn connections, meet them, because imagine a XYZ company comes in your college, or XYZ upcoming startup comes in your college, and you know the founders, or you know the VPs and presidents of those companies. That is a very good thing to have, because it will you will always have a referral, or maybe you will always have uh, I mean, you can understand, like, the
Yeah,
value of connections a lot. You might The opportunities might open to you, and you might be sometimes, because of your connections, you get to know a lot of things which other people in your college or other people who are with you, they probably don't know. So the one thing is that talk with people in your college, first thing. Second is be active on LinkedIn, actively participate on LinkedIn, and yeah, that is it.
so, is there any particular lesson you learned, you wish you had known that before, that would have sort of helped you out, just so that new founders and new people that are sort of interested into entrepreneurship, they can not repeat your mistake, so as to say.
Oh, okay. So in that aspect, the mistakes which we did in our previous ideas, uh, one of the most important mistakes which we did, and that's why we had to, you know, that idea didn't work out, and we are not doing it in UnlistAI, is that you should validate your product at all times. You should be in absolute touch with your potential users, potential customers. You shouldn't fear to talking to them, because you might be in your room developing a product, like day and night you are coding. You think that this might be an opportunity, and that's what, like, goes wrong. And we did that in our first initial ideas, that we were just developing the products, but we weren't talking with the users. We weren't like going to them with a 10-question questionnaire, asking about them, what do you want, what is your
Yeah.
problem, what are the constraints you're facing, and whatever you are developing, is it even a problem?
Yeah.
Because developing solutions is not the important thing. As I told you, like, you can easily develop technology if you spend time in it. Some people might need a month, some people will need 2 3 months. That's not the problem, but the problem is that, uh, is that problem even a problem? Adoption is the most important thing. Whatever you Even if you think that this might work out, have you actually talked with your potential users about it? And that's what mistake with is what we did in the previous ideas. We didn't even validate the product. At UnlistAI, in the past 7 months, every single day, every single week, we have this, a discussion with me and my co-founder, that whatever we are making, is it even viable? Is it even needed? And if we think that we are going into some different direction, we are taking some different trajectory, which is probably not the, a very ideal one, then we have to shift the gears. We have to talk. You have to take the feedback. So, like the people who want, they are already entrepreneurs. You might implement this in your startup. And people who want to become entrepreneurs, I mean, just start. It's fine if you fail. It doesn't matter. College is the time when you can achieve things. College is the time when no one is going to ask you anything. Even if you fail, no one cares. And if you succeed, everyone cares. So that's like, just take the opportunity. You have a lot of time, 4 years, you have complete freedom. You can keep doing your academics on the side and always invest in these. And ultimately, like, this is specifically for people who want to start a tech startup or interested about technology. If you start building something on your own, ultimately you are going to learn things. So this, which Aparimia talked about, people are very scared about the placements. That is true. That is important as well, because you need to achieve that way, right? But even if you build things, start building things for 6 months, forgetting everything, then you are going to be ahead, because you will be exploring actually what happens in real life on ground level. So yeah, that is it.
Okay. So thank you so much, Aro, for giving some time on my podcast. Wishing you all the best,
Thank
and hopefully we can have a couple more podcasts after your company actually succeeds. Because right now it's been 7 months. Hopefully you can grow a really well-known sort of startup.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you so
yeah,
much. Hopefully everyone gained something from this podcast, and you can comment down anything, any query that you have. I'll try to answer, or if Aro is available, he will definitely try to give a comment back to you. So thank you guys for tuning in. So yeah, thank you, Aru.